Welcome to the 293 Code Podcast. Today's episode is peer pressure. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Peer pressure can be a bitch sometimes. Real talk. Especially, from the mental health aspect from it, because you feel like you already have to prove something to yourself. But then you also feel like you got to prove yourself to the world. And that's hard, especially if you have an episode or you just feel you're not feeling like yourself, or you feeling like you got to live up to everybody else's expectations. Like, you got to ask yourself, like, how are you supposed to do that when you don't feel normal? Because the world want to portray everything as normal. It means that you're good, you're perfect, and nobody live their life like that. It took me for years to realize, like, you know what? I'm not perfect, and it's okay. Because I felt like I had to live up to a certain standard, be a certain way, act a certain way, because when it's instilled in you. But peer pressure is what bring all the other things along in your life that makes you feel like you ain't worth shit.
Nah, you right. I feel like people been given to peer pressure to feel wanted, to be needed, to be part of something.
Nah, you right.
In high school, well, shit, now, this goes back now. Back then, it started with us, like maybe 8th grade year to high school for peer pressure. But now it started as early as I seen preschoolers peer pressuring kids.
Yeah, it's really hard. And I think peer pressure comes from, like, when you have a mentor, somebody like your parents, anybody in your family who didn't strive to fulfill their own needs, and they put that pressure on you. You never had a chance to even see the world or even see who you wanted to become as a person. Go through life with failures of your own to realize, like, it's okay to not be perfect because of peer pressure within itself. But it's also sad, though, when you have to get to adulthood to realize that peer pressure is not okay. Because you know how some, like, even in sports, they try to, sometimes coaches try to make it feel like, that peer pressure is what makes you great. It what makes you strive. That's a bunch of bull in some aspects. Because technically, it depends on what kind of sport you playing. I'm not saying there are not athletes out there who like that kind of pressure, but not everybody like, we're all built different. But it's sad when you get to adulthood and you realize, your own trauma to not being perfect, that you have to sit back and try to relive.
Nah, you're right.
It's almost like you have to go back into your childhood and start over. Even though you're a grown ass adult, you have to go back to your childhood and start over and reteach yourself things that you was never taught.
Like what? Explain. Give me an example.
What I mean by that. Okay. Just like for me, I'm going to use myself as an example. I have to reteach myself that, hey, if I don't get something done today, and it's something that's not major or something that need to be done, like, say, for instance, wash my clothes, or let's say I'm not going to wash my dishes right now or in the moment. I have to remind myself, like, I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm a grown ass adult. It's going to be okay. The world is not going to be destroyed because I decided to go one more day without doing my laundry. You see what I'm saying? The peer pressure of it all is the peer pressure that I put on myself. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm talking about peer pressure within myself.
Okay.
Peer pressure from, like, a mental aspect. When people don't understand, like, when a person suffers from OCD, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Our minds don't operate like everybody else. It's peer pressure every day.
No, you're right.
If a cup get moved a different way, if the rug get turned wrong, you know what I'm saying? So when I was using that example as the laundry, the dishes and stuff, that's peer pressure I put on myself if I don't do it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm using it as a reward when I do it, that it's supposed to make the rest of my day better. But then sometimes I got to ask myself, do that make sense? Well, it makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. But I got to ask myself on the other spectrum of how other people see it. Do it make sense to them? Probably not. But what I'm learning out of all that is relaxation, and it's okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the peer pressure that you put on yourself or the peer pressure that other people put on you, all they equal to is stress.
But not everybody knows how to deal with stress, especially the younger generation. Well, not the younger generation, just younger kids. I mean, we do, like, even parents, we tend to, like you said, put peer pressure on our children. And then, of course, you have now more than ever social media. So that's another pressure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Social media is a huge, like, bully almost in a way.
And then, like, even a young adult, you go young and adult.
Yeah, I wasn't going to call you out on that because I was trying to let you make your point, but young and adult.
Young adult going off to college. There's peer pressure to make those grades to enable to keep the scholarship. Or, if you're on the basketball team, we know this best. You got to think about your grades. You got to think about, staying intact as far as being able to play. And so there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, being a student athlete was hard in college. It was hard because it was like, you had your study halls and you had your tutors and stuff like that. And people thought that athletes had it made. Like, no, you got up early to practice before class. You practice after class. You had road trips. You had to make sure that you kept up with your schedule. Sometimes like most of my, when I got to my senior year, I had a lot of independent study. But it was still pressure because you couldn't wait till the last minute to turn in all your stuff before the end of the semester. It was a lot of paper writing, but
I didn't care for English.
Yeah, well, I didn't care for English either. I think my favorite subject was
math and science.
Math was okay. I didn't really care for science.
Oh shit, I love science.
My favorite class was sports management.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was like a wider, course to where you ventured into every single sport, and then I took sports classes. But I mean, like, as far as the basic curriculum, nah, I ain't care for none of those because it was the same stuff every year. A little bit more harder, but I mean.
Yeah, it just get advanced. I mean, science, I loved science. And I think the only reason I love science is because I didn't have to study, and then I would have a test and I would ace it.
Yeah, I didn't care. To me, science was boring.
Yeah.
It was really boring.
I guess it depends on the teacher too.
Well, I had a hard time focusing because like I'd be thinking about other stuff in class and trying to rearrange the room in my head and wondering why the teacher wearing what she was wearing today. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I'd be looking at people's shoes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was like a different type of boredom, but I mean, like, it kept me occupied to stay woke in class, but I still was able to get through the class because then I would go home and reteach myself.
Right.
Because I wouldn't be paying attention like that.
Right.
But I made sure I would be quiet and I would do the duties of like being a student athlete. Because you know what I'm saying? It came with the peer pressure of like, when they tell you all of what you can't do and how it would end up. You know what I'm saying? But that carries on into everyday life. Whether when you work around work people, you got a job, around your family, regardless of who you are, even when you become a parent, you becoming a role model for somebody, whether you like it or not.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You can be a role model for a complete stranger, you know what I'm saying? And you may be just handing out food that day. And to that person, they like, okay, this person giving back. They was nice to me. Boom. They looking up to you automatically. They don't know nothing about you. You know what I'm saying? That's peer pressure.
Yeah.
And peer pressure is hard because like people look at you on the outside and just think that like, hey, you got everything made. Everything is set. Everything is perfect in your eyes when like in reality it's not. I think sometimes we tend to put peer pressure on other people and not even know it sometimes.
I mean, this society is peer pressure. I mean, we're peer pressure to, keep a job that we don't like or hate because we got to pay the bills.
Support your family.
I'm going to be honest with you. Peer pressure, back then we can, and not saying that we were tough. I'm just saying we were more resilient. But also that resilient, we kind of mask that trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, peer pressure these days, I mean, because they got a lot more ways you can peer pressure a person. I mean, commercials through its roof, that's a $1 billion industry right there. And the thing is, suicide is at its all-time high.
No, it is. And just for everybody who are not aware of this month is Suicide Awareness Month, and it's just like with peer pressure, it do lead up to suicide. And people ask when somebody commits suicide, the one thing they ask is like, why? What happened? What could we have done? Why didn't nobody talk to anybody? Those are wrong questions to ask.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's too late. It's just like, the thing of it is, it's like most people think that people are going to be very vocal about it. And 9 times out of 10, people are not vocal about it. You will never know.
No, they're not going to be vocal about it.
You will never know.
Because we have to keep this this image of, a tough guy or tough girl or, I'm not weak image.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put that up. But you know what? That goes from like most people, you put that strong body armor on at a young age. So you got to mask it with other things so that people don't pay close attention to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it was sports. Hiding there through sports. For some people, it's like their job. They excel at what they do. So you find a different route to excel at something so that it kind of keeps people mind off on what's really going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when you don't really have anybody to talk to about how you really feeling, and they can't really accept your worth and your truth, then who you supposed to talk to? You feel like there's no way out.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So it's just crazy, that we have stuff set in place, like, where people say, oh, well, there's the suicide line. There's a mental health line. They have different lines for different things or whatever. And I've used them several times, the text version, the call version. And depending on who you get, sometimes it's beneficial, sometimes it's not, because sometimes when you go through the cycle over and over again, you feel like you're running out of options.
Right. So here's my question. How does that work? The suicide, let's say you're pressured into doing something, like you're pressured on social media so much to look a certain way or to be a certain way, like it gets too much and you're overwhelmed and you're thinking your thoughts are like, hey, I just want to commit suicide. How does that work when you call the suicide line?
So basically how it worked, if you call, it's the same way as even if you text, like, they'll ask you your name. They'll ask you if you're safe. They'll ask you if anybody's, there with you, like the location of where you at, like where you at in that moment in time. And so then they ask you like, what's going on? So what they do is, they pretty much talk you down. They talk to you and stuff like that to where you feel like you back into a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then like if you need help or to go to like a hospital, or if they need to call 911, they would do that. But like most of the time when you talk to these people, they're not even in your state.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a national line.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't get personal with themselves, but and they find a way to find something to keep you invested, to keep you on that phone. But they don't get off the phone with you until they know that, okay, hey, you're okay. I feel that you're okay. And like you can continue to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? You can talk about whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you got going on in the moment, whatever the peer pressure may be. But when there's times where like you may be like, hey, I'm still feeling anxious, but it's not as high as it was before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then you talk about the proper steps of what you're about to do next, and then like sometimes they will call you back and check up on you, or you can call them back. Like the line, you don't wait long.
So how long would you say the wait is?
For me, the longest I had to wait for somebody to get on was about 3 minutes.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get right away, but like through text message, probably about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, you know what I'm saying, they know that people don't want to talk. So like it do feel good. Sometimes you can be like, hey, I can just text the number and I'm talking to somebody and communicate. But I think for me, like once I got more into my own work and I was more aware of like not being happy and I was always depressed,
Mm-hmm.
and it would come on so heavy that where I couldn't control myself.
Yeah.
I knew then I needed more help than just a phone call away.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's hard because sometimes people, it's hard because the reason why I say it's hard is because it takes a lot for you to look deep into yourself to be like, you know what? I need more help. Because sometimes you get people that get the bare minimum of help, and they'll just stay at that bare minimum, but they won't advance themselves because of change. We hate change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or how is somebody going to look at me? How am I going to be portrayed now by my peers?
Yeah, that's peer pressure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you got peers that don't understand your condition and what's going on, people say the wrong shit to you. Like, they thinking that, you at a basketball game or something. Like, I'm sitting up here getting out of a damn mental ward, and people are like, oh man, you know what? Just hang in there. You're a strong individual. You're strong. You got this. You got this. Did we look like we just got done playing a game?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to survive.
Right.
And people thinking like, I was just in the hospital from a surgery or something, like get well soon type shit. So sometimes it's just like, you have to make sure that you surround yourself around people who are comfortable enough to accept you for who you are and accept what you're going through and not try to change your narrative. That's very important, because what people don't seem to realize is when you already feeling peer pressure from yourself and other people come in and say the wrong thing because they're uncomfortable with your situation, it can go left real quick.
Damn.
So, like for me, I couldn't take other people asking me, especially like, are you okay? How are you doing? Do you need anything? I didn't need nothing from anybody because what I needed, nobody could give me.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? When you already feel like you done died, but you can't come back to life because you feel like, hey, I'm not worthy enough to breathe. I feel like I'll be more happy dead. Damn. How you going to change my mind from feeling like that? You can't. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There was no book to read. There was no meditation that I could put up on an app to download. None of that stuff worked because my mind was so hijacked that I had to go to higher measures to be able to continue to fight.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm still continuing to fight. People think like, I just got done with treatment, 3 months ago? No, 2 months ago. My last treatment was in
for
May.
TMJ?
TMS.
Oh, TMS?
Yeah. So I did that for...
Yeah. It lasts.
I did it for 9.5 weeks straight. And because when I got done in June, that was kind of like my break. And then they called me back in July. And it was like, to try to come back in. I was just like, nah, it got me to my bare minimum stage. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, boom, here it comes. You know what I'm saying? So It's just like, you have to almost be an advocate for yourself when you start realizing like what you need and like what's working and what's not working. But the thing of it is that doctor could see when I'm sitting in there with the doctor and we having our one-on-one and he's looking straight into my eyes and he could tell like, man, I'm sorry, but I won't be able to help you. Like I've tried everything. That he see that I was still struggling, but I was still continuing on. Mm-hmm. It's like, finally, somebody get that fight. But then he kind of shared his own story. So like, that's why he do that work. Because because
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is peer pressure, like I said before, peer pressure is a bitch.
Nah, you absolutely right.
It don't only just come from being a kid. It come in adulthood. It come, hell, even citizen mode, you know what I'm saying? Like, senior citizen mode.
I'm being pressured and playing bingo. I don't want to play bingo with these old bats.
You almost up in age, though.
Here's a question. Well, do you often wonder what your classmates or friends think about you? If so, why? This is out for the youth because you guys start school next week.
Yeah.
And then, some of you guys started school last week or last month in the South, right?
Oh, the South started in May.
Huh?
Yeah, the South started in May.
What you mean they started in May?
I mean, not May. What month are we in? My bad. No, the South started in August.
Yeah, the beginning of August, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, some of you guys...
My bad, y'all.
I'm like, May. Some of you guys started in August, beginning of August. So this is a question to really just, sit down and ask yourself, do you often wonder what your classmates and friends think about you? If so, why? What about you, Bonnie?
Do I worry about that now?
Well, I mean, you're not in a class situation, but I mean,
I feel like
work, environment.
Okay, ask the question again.
Okay, so I'll rephrase it for you.
Yeah, rephrase it.
So, do you often wonder what your friends or peers think about you? If so, why?
I used to, because I used to try to make everybody happy. Now, I don't even care anymore. And it's not to be mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't have time and the energy to care anymore.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I have to put it.
Yeah.
Because before I used to worry about what everybody would think, what everybody would say. But people are going to do that anyway. You know, people already have, you know, their opinion of me, you know, but I have to learn. I had to learn, and I'm still learning how to not let their opinion affect me and who I am.
Yeah.
Because if anybody know me, it's going to be me.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What about you?
Let's see. Yeah, I believe so. I didn't think. Well, in high school, I don't think. No, I did care up to a certain point. So now, you know, I don't. When you get older, you don't really care.
You don't really care anymore.
I mean, you got the T-shirt to wear it.
The only thing, okay, look, let me rephrase something. I feel like the only thing that we would care about is that if somebody's trying to portray us as a negative image.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That at least, you know what I'm saying? I care about stuff like that because it's just like, now you can't be going out doing that kind of stuff. But like, I feel like for the most part, like we don't really do anything for people to even care what the hell we doing, to be honest.
Nigga, I do. I be out there.
You be out there?
I be risking it all out in them streets.
In them streets, I be at home.
Nah, I don't really like you said, professional setting is one thing. And like I said, we try to stay true to the heart and just give, you know, our perspective, meaning like from our perspective, what we dealt with, what we went through. So,
right.
You know, and like I said, not everybody's going to be the same and not everybody's going to have the same reaction, the same peer pressure. It's our reacting to a certain peer pressure. It's all going to be different. But yeah, I do care how this day and age, because we have social media, how people put out false information
just to get a come up,
just to get a come up off of people's, you know, off their success. So they'll use people in the most dangerous and stupid way, I say.
No, you right.
So no, I worry about that. Now, I don't know, maybe 60 years from now, I don't know where I might be.
Oh.
Have you ever felt pressure from your friends to do something you didn't want to do or thought was wrong?
No.
Nah, I'm be honest with you. I don't be giving in to shit like that.
Nah, me either.
Yeah, like I have friends that, you know, did drugs, Molly, and they was like, yeah, you should try it. Why should I try it? And we're all sitting at the train tracks. I'm in the back seat. We're all sitting at the train tracks. There's not a train in sight, but everybody in that car is high except me talking about, y'all see how long this train is? No. I don't want to feel that type of high.
Right.
And then I don't want to feel the type of high where, you know, people used to make fun of me in college, talking about, oh, you think you too good. You don't want to get high with us. You all like, no, it's not that I don't want to get high with y'all. Is that I know the long term effects of that motherfucker.
Right.
Like it's just it's like sex. It's a moment thing. Like sex, it's just like, you know, that person may look good and, you know, sex may be good, but you don't know everything about that person. And you turn around, you end up getting HIV. That was my thought process. Like, what's the repercussions of that in the long term? I always thought long term.
That was always my mindset on anything, especially when I was young. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never let any of my friends peer pressure me into anything. And I'm glad that like I kept my head on straight because I knew if I did, shit, going home was going to be 10 times worse. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I didn't care what anybody said or try to be cool or anything like that. That was one thing I was not down for.
No, right.
I'm like, hell nah.
Yeah, I didn't care. I didn't care about that. Like, and now, like the kids now, it's different for them because they have different type of drugs. We had marijuana, X pills, and cocaine, shit like that. But they have zombie shit that's turning people into zombies.
Hey, remember when people was up there snorting the bath soap?
Yeah,
that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, people are. You know, what I'm saying people. I don't know. I think I was different when it came to like my friends, and no judgment towards my friends.
But I think the thing of it is, back in our era, making us sound, oh, y'all, we're not that old. No, but back when we grew up, I think what made the difference is because our generation was actually being a parent. And what I mean by that, it didn't matter if you came from a single household, or if your grandma raised you, or somebody in the church raised you, or your uncle or aunt or your cousins. Mm-hmm. It came, no matter who raised you, you came from a household where it was strict. Yeah. Now, some of our friends or whatever back then, their parents were strict, but they still try to test the waters by saying, well, oh, my mom or my daddy won't know until they get caught up or whatever. You still had friends who would test it. And I was always that friend, be like, oh, tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? I'll listen, but I would never be a part of it. Yeah.
Because the ass whooping is way worse than being high.
Well, see, for me, my mindset was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to play basketball. Mm-hmm. Sports was my outlet. So I knew what I wanted to do. And I was always busy playing a sport. I didn't have time to get in trouble. Yeah. So that's one of the things. But yeah.
But I mean, even in high school, there was high school parties.
I didn't go to parties.
Especially if you're a jock.
No, see, for me, I didn't like being around people.
Yeah.
So I never went to parties. I never went to my proms because I chose AAU over going to the proms. Mm-hmm. So I never even with my friends who drove or whatever like that, if I wasn't catching a ride from school, from an after school sports activity to the house, you would never catch me in the car with my friends. Mm-hmm. So I never did it. Like my sisters, they did all those activities, but for me, I didn't care for it.
Okay. All right.
It wasn't until I got to college where it was college parties and this and that. And it's I went to maybe one or two, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And plus, being around alcohol was a huge factor for me.
Yeah. Okay. Nah.
I'd rather be at the house or be in the dorm playing Nintendo, chilling. I would be watching sports. That was my passion. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of that's why I stayed away from, because I didn't want to be seen out, with a group of people that's doing those bad things. If my goals, it was to play pro ball. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because, as an athlete, your coach has always got somebody watching over you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that part came easy though. So I really never felt the peer pressure of from my own peers as, hey, let's go out and do this. Because I pretty much hung out with people who was kind of like me.
Yeah. Okay. Now I love going to college parties. Nah, no doubt. I mean, the college parties were off the chain.
See, you good because look, when I went to JUCO, it was a Christian school.
Oh yeah.
See, and then when I got a scholarship to USCS, then that was a public school. But see, I only stayed there 1 year. Oh, okay. They got rid of our head coach. But see, what was cool about that campus was we didn't have dormitories. We had apartments.
No, we had apartments.
So we had apartments. So it was just I never forget the one party that I went to. It was at their school and it got shut down by the cops because you had all these people. It was from it was the tennis team. They threw a party at their apartment, but the apartment was off campus. Mm-hmm. But the police got called. And so it was everybody in this small ass apartment. I mean, we was over capacity. Dang. And I'm looking for oh shit, what's going to be the best escape route? Cause I'm just sitting on the couch, but I'm not drinking or anything. Mm-hmm. I'm just there with some people on the basketball team. So it got shut down. So everybody had to leave, but that was a close call though. But you know what? After the weekend was over, Monday, our basketball coach knew about it. Damn. So team punishment was we had to run a mile outside of the school.
Yeah. I didn't like going to high school parties. And I think the reason why, because I felt like my grandma was going to show up. Yeah. And that was more you talking about peer pressuring man, fuck what my friends had to do. I was more worried about like, what if my grandma show up? You know, she ain't got no shame. She'll come up in this party, shut the whole shit down. Everybody going home.
Right.
But that was, and plus I've lost too many friends. I got a lot of back then had a lot of friends in gangs and stuff. So coming out of a party, getting shot as you're coming out of the party and dying at the front doors, it hits different.
It do hits different because you know what? Thinking about that, there was 3 guys that was really like, we was friends in middle school and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And once we got to high school, it was almost like they all passed away, like in increments.
Oh, dang.
One after another. And they was all pretty much gone by the time I was in the 10th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they like freshmen or something?
No, 10th grade, sophomore.
Oh, they were.
We was all in the same class.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. See, and that's the other thing. Like, I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, if you like from a hood that that has a lot of gang members and stuff like that, you have pressure. Like, if your dad's a gang member, that's pressure. If your mom's a gang member, that's pressure, right? So when you're in the hood, and majority of the people that you hang with, they're either Crips, Bloods, or Pyru, or whatever the case may be. Like, why did this mic look like it was falling?
You over there having an illusion.
That's peer pressure. I mean, because you really don't want to join a gang, but in order to, be safe, you got to pick a side. That's like prison.
Yeah.
You got to pick a side. Even prison's peer pressure. God, and no man, half of them are old ass men, and they got to pick a side. So there's a lot of pressure in society, American society, that I think of.
Yeah, you right.
I can see.
Okay, but the thing of it is that like I didn't have to worry about no gangs because I was from the country bunking. That's one thing we didn't have to worry about. They had gangs, but But the thing of it is, like where I'm from,
y'all had Dukes of Hazzard.
I mean, like the thing of it is just that like I lived on the outskirts of that city. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so we didn't have to worry about it. We didn't have to worry about that.
Y'all still had like, well, it wasn't like gangs wasn't as big as it was in the South. Like in the South, it wasn't as big as the West Coast.
See the thing, yeah, it wasn't as big as West Coast. Now up north, East Coast, it is. Yeah, that's more city. But the South, we had to worry more about racism.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Walking the street, being shot.
Yeah, stuff like that, but not really gangs. I didn't have to worry about none of that.
Y'all did have gangs. That horse gang.
Giddy
up, giddy up, giddy up.
You dumb.
Country gang.
Whatever.
They be like, my name is Horsemore.
Hey, we from the South, but we ain't that country bunking.
No, y'all country bunking.
But I do listen to my country music though.
Yep, you do. I'm like, what are we listening to? Okay, here's another one.
How long is it?
He said, how long is it? Here's one. So who can you talk to when you feel like you're pressured?
It depends. And the reason why I say it depends is because it depends on what friend is going to be able to hold in the stuff that you have to tell.
Yeah, that's going to open up that space for you.
Right. Because the thing of it is we all walk around with a treasure box. But we pick and choose whose stuff we can hold. And It's not like an allowance. But what I mean by that is that sometimes stuff be so deep, you really have to narrow down who you can tell what to. Depend on how bad your peer pressure is. Depends on how anxious you is. If you feel suicidal that day, it really depends because you can have 10 friends, 10 close friends. But each friend is utilized different.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it just depends on what friend that you know that can hold your boss.
And here's the other thing: trust too is a factor.
Trust, yeah.
Especially like in these young kids. I don't think they have what trust and loyalty looks like anymore. This opening up that space and be able to be safe in that space to tell a friend, you know, these are the peer pressure that I'm having, and it's causing a lot of stress. Like you said, angst. Like, are you gonna go back and call me a pussy behind my back? Are you gonna go
Right.
back and talk to everybody shit at a party? Like, what is it? You know?
Yeah, but you know, have you thought about this though?
No.
Sometimes people try to use your loyalty as a bargain.
Oh,
For real though.
explain that.
Because the reason why I say that is you can tell somebody something that is very confidential to the T about your struggles or whatever you going on in life, right? But as soon as you do something that they don't like and they get pissed off at you, they bargain what you said to somebody else because they're mad. Yeah. That's what I mean by that.
Okay.
So it's like, people love to throw out the word, I'm loyal, I'm loyal, I'm loyal. But are you really? Because I've seen motherfuckers be loyal and they call people, I kind of hate this phrase when people say, oh, my bestie or my best friend. You notice we don't use that. We be like, oh, that's the homie. That's family right there. Because anybody can be a best friend.
I see it. I think it's real big out here, popular out here.
It is. And everybody use that word. So it really don't mean anything if you ask me. That's how I see it.
They're like my bestie, but then they be stabbing each other in the back.
Talking mad shit.
Like, I thought that was your bestie. Oh, girl, they've been knowing me since I was 2. Really?
But then people try to validate it being like, oh, that is my best friend. Oh, we get into it here and there, but we always come back. Okay, make it make sense. Because, I always was just like, you know what? You do me wrong, I'm done with you. Fuck it. We don't talk no more.
Well, there's like, if you're based off a character, and character counts for me. Like, if I've seen this done where somebody, like, you'll break up with somebody and then they'll go behind your back and date that person.
That's dirty.
That's dirty. And I feel like there's levels and rules to this shit. And people like the young generation, no, it's not, because y'all had a connection. No, that tells me everything about you.
Yeah, that's dirty.
Or they be like, here's another one. Nigga.
What?
They pressure me into it. I was just trying to help her out. She was feeling very emotional and they pressure. How do they pressure your tongue?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Like, it's like this. When two people supposed to like each other, it's supposed to be natural and consensual, right?
Right.
But if you get caught and you cheating with somebody, you can't say that you feel pressure. It's too late.
It's too late. It's too late.
That's too late. But I mean, like,
this is a whole bunch of excuses. I felt the pressure to need. No, nigga, you should have came to me first.
But it goes back to you didn't get what you wanted from that person. So you got mad and say, I'm going to go somewhere else. Because people always say, well, what you won't give me, somebody else will. Whoever created that saying, I wonder where they at right now. Probably just hopping around.
They are. Prime example. I've been hearing this a lot lately. And, I think we did a couple shows on this back in the day about polyamorous and bisexual, like all that. So, and queer. Like, I'm still confused. But here's the thing. People pressure each other into making you think what they're doing, their behavior is okay, and it's not.
Well, queer don't have anything to do with that.
No, queer don't have nothing to do with it. Yeah,
but like when people are bisexual and
the poly is the one that's growing.
Yeah, poly is growing. That's because people just like, well, I want to have my cake and eat it too. And then I want to have another set of dessert on the side, because it's just like, I mean, to each their own. But the thing of it is just that like one person getting to share multiple people, you almost got to ask those other people, like, do y'all know y'all worth?
The thing they don't. They just go along with it. That's why I'm saying peer pressure with that one.
Sharing I mean, I guess it's cool if you ain't really trying to be in a relationship with somebody and y'all ain't all living together, but the ones that be living together.
The ones that living together, it's like, they like, they come up with the other person comes up with the poly, like, and then you're coming up, you're just agreeing because you don't want to be alone. That's peer
Right.
pressure.
Right.
You're agreeing, and you know deep down inside it's not okay. I've had many debates about this, and I'm still trying to figure out poly.
I think we are. I mean,
just say I'm not committed. I don't want to be committed to anyone,
and that's fine too.
Then that's fine,
as long as the other person ain't trying to be committed either. I mean, whatever float anybody boat.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, it comes down to like, if you're happy and that person is happy and it's genuine, I guess, you know what? Each their own. I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
But I mean, but the peer pressure, you can't have somebody be trying to talk you into doing that though. That's like, come on now. Like, bro, that don't make sense. Because you don't want to be alone. Yeah.
Fuck that.
And sometimes you get some women to be like, well, we was married and they wanted to venture out but you stayed and you like, no,
you stayed and the thing is, you're trying to hold on to a past. Like, maybe if that person might come around, maybe I might get that old person I met. No, that person then moved on, and you should too.
Yeah, that is true.
I just feel like in relationship, there's also pressure too. Pressure in sex. You know what I'm saying?
Well, especially if the sex get declined. What I mean by declined is like, when you first meet somebody, you go through the honeymoon stage, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, shit, you having sex all the time. It's like wherever, you know what I'm saying, can't wait to go home. You walking around with your panties wet, drawers be wet and everything, just be lusting over each other and shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that first phase. But then you go into phase 2 where, you know what? It's like now you're used to being around each other because you see each other more.
Right.
Then you hit phase 3 where it's just like, you know what? Once a week, if that, and then, but the one thing that people miss out of all that, yeah, that's a bad thing. It could be, but it also could be a good thing too. You got to ask yourself, like, okay, maybe we went down to once a week. Maybe we can get it back to twice a week. Maybe our schedules are too busy or whatever it is, right? But within that time frame, are you still getting to know each other?
No.
Because sometimes we miss those. Sometimes we miss those stages in relationships because we so stuck on the good times because we're happy and we're laughing and we doing stuff and we always traveling, all the fun shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But then when you actually get back to reality where it's like workload, finances, you know what I'm saying? Taking the kids here and there or, just life in general, whatever it may be, doesn't matter. But once you get to the part where it started being consistent doing that and it's complacent and your body don't wore out and be like, you know what? Okay, now my body's back down to normal because I'm not as hyper now. Right. In the beginning, it was all exciting.
Right.
What happens when you get to that phase 3 where it's like, okay, you back to normal, normalization of how you used to be before you met that person? Mm-hmm. Are you going to last? Because what happens is, the first thing to get brought up is, well, we used to do all this. That was in the beginning when you guys was hyper. You was eating too much cotton candy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
So now you're pressured to
get back to phase 1.
To play, get back to phase 1. So that means you got to play a certain character and you don't even know what character you played when you were in phase 1.
Right.
So that's pressure in itself.
But I think the peer pressure also comes from that. I want to know your opinion on this. Mm-hmm. I think the peer pressure comes from that. Is because when two people meet each other and they probably been lusting over each other just in their head, imagining like, oh man, this person will be my person. Mm-hmm. And like, they're the one. They already done planted that seed of this fantasy, right? Because they see this person in a different light, not behind closed doors. Because, you only imagine them because in everybody else's eyes and your eyes, they just look perfect. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So absolutely. You imagining yourself to be with that person because that person is going to help you be a better you. Well, first of all, that's a mistake. You should never need to depend on somebody else to make you be the person you want to be. Because that's peer pressure within itself too.
No, you're right. Saying?
So the thing of it is that, once you visualize that and then you and that person finally get together and you having so much fun and you just thinking like, I'm on cloud 10. Like this is it. But then what happened with the peer pressure is all this other stuff come along where it's just like you thinking like, phase 1 is going to be your reality forever. And then phase 1 just supposed to automatically jump into marriage or moving in together.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that we forget to do is within that time of having fun, we stop learning about each other, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I think once we get past that first phase and we start moving into that second stage, that area, we automatically, and if you have unsecure attachment, you automatically start thinking, I don't want to lose this person.
Right.
This person is way too good. And then all of a sudden all you can think about is holding on to this person. But like you said, you miss all the good points and you miss all the bad points too, because there could have been red flags in there.
Yeah.
But you were so focusing on holding on and so afraid to losing that. Like you pressure yourself into pretty much severing that relationship, honestly.
No, you're right. And then the thing of it is when, you have people that be like, when a relationship's not going the way you want it to go, then the peer pressure come on of like, well, they bring up all the red flags that they seen and ignored.
Yeah.
So who fault is that? Let's keep it real though.
No, you're right.
So you want to bring up those red flags that you actually picked up and stored in your back pocket and didn't want to talk about it then. But as soon as a person do something that you don't like or is about to end or you see that it's not going back to the honeymoon stage, then you want to start throwing the red flags out like darts.
Isn't that triangulation?
It's right? What?
Triangulation.
It could be. I don't know. You might want to look that one up. Yeah. But the thing of it is, but you see what I'm saying though?
Yeah, no, I see.
We're not, I'm not sitting here saying it's not right or wrong or anything like that, because you know what? There is not going to ever be a perfect relationship. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people have to separate in life and grow on their own and do their own individual work and then come back. Some people think like, oh, if we separate, we done. It doesn't have to be a bad thing as long as you have both parties actually going into it, working on themselves, and not necessarily going into it, working on it to get back with that one individual, but going into it, actually working on yourself. You know, we all have stuff that we have to work on.
No, you absolutely right.
Nobody's perfect in a relationship. I know I done fucked up plenty of relationships. I can own up to mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I never portray to be. You know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is that like, once you get to a point where you have to take that step back and be like, you know what? I got to refocus on me. I got to be able to get to where I need to be so that I can be that person to provide, listen, pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? I want to be, wanted, not needed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want somebody to have to need me because you know what? That goes into codependency. I want you to want me. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to want the other person.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing of it is that like sometimes when you get out of bad relationships before then, you have to regroup, take step back, focus on yourself so you don't bring the same issues or bring up those issues into the next relationship or whatever you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like sometimes people do that.
Yeah, I think it's like, I feel like people sometimes don't want to be alone, so they'll peer pressure themselves into a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And when I say you peer pressure yourself into a toxic relationship, you know that relationship's not good. But you, deep down inside, you don't want to be alone. And so you want it to work. So you'll take it at any means and measures that you can.
But let me ask you this question, though.
Uh-huh.
How do you deal with a person when they realize that they know it was all them and they fucked up and they couldn't get their shit together, and then they realize like, damn, I just lost a good thing that I had. Not saying that the other person was like perfect, and because you know what I'm saying, they had stuff to work on too. Mm-hmm. But how do you bounce back from losing that individual, and then you start to work on yourself, you start to grow, mm-hmm. but then you look at it like, damn, I know that individual never give me a chance, when you feel like that person was your person?
That's when I'll sit on the couch by the fireplace in my 2-piece suit with my Patron and my hot cigar. and say, "Gotcha, bitch."
I thought you were gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? Put them in pajamas, turn on some Key Sweat, got the fireplace going, and be like damn,
because they messed up, right? And the reason why
you messed up.
Oh, I messed up.
Yeah.
Oh,
you messed up.
Okay.
They not perfect either, but once you realize that,
I take that back.
Yeah. Because I was just like, that don't make sense. But no, once you realize, like, damn, you know what? That person did show me some things. That person was good for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you just move on. You got to take responsibility. I'm going to tell you what's more gratifying than to go back to that person. Because you never know, that person, you never know if that relationship is truly ended.
Right.
The thing is healing from that and also taking responsibility. Responsibility and accountability is so hard for people to swallow, especially when they fucked up. You know what I'm saying? We can talk. It's easier to talk about somebody's faults and what they did to you than for you to talk about what you fucking did, your faults and what you did to them.
True.
But when you do and you actually take accountability and responsibility of your own actions, regardless of what shit they may have done, like that's gratifying for me.
True.
And it's nothing, like I said, there's nothing I wouldn't want differently. Because I may have been young and dumb in the past, but dealing with that relationship and actually going through that heartbreak has taught me a lot of things.
I mean, I think heartbreak is the worst though. My first heartbreak, I was about comatose. What I mean by that, it was just like, it was a hard breakup. It was hard.
So what I mean by that, it was hard breakup.
It was a hard breakup. But you know what I'm saying? Like once you get through that first one,
yeah,
it kind of builds that wall. It do.
A very dangerous wall at that.
A very dangerous wall.
A wall that's so high that you have cliffs.
A wall that you can't even get over, that you built.
Yep. And that's a scary wall.
But one thing that like I try not to do is bring the old relationship into a new relationship. But you know what? I ain't even good at that shit. I can be honest. I ain't even good at that. And what I mean by that is not bringing that person up. It's just that you don't forget the ways of how that individual treated you.
Okay.
Because of the hurt. And you still walk into the next relationship guarded what they did. But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you have to try to come into new relationships being open-minded.
Nah, you right.
But then it's hard too, like especially, is that when you're working on your own trauma, like who really going to stand by you? You know what I'm saying? Not just your trauma. It's just that how you have to deal with your own shit plus trying to be in a relationship. Sometimes it's hard.
But do you have to be in a relationship though?
You don't have to be in a relationship, but I'm just saying, but sometimes you don't recognize your own trauma even more until you get in a relationship. Because sometimes when you by yourself and you be so busy focusing on the stuff that you have recognized when you get out of a relationship, sometimes you don't realize the other work you got to do until you get back in one.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes we fool ourselves thinking that, hey, I'm good. I'm healed. Are you really?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. It's tricky. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
But like you said, also accountability, owning up to it. Like I told you, shit, I fucked some shit up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I can own up to that. You know what I'm saying? Because my main accountability that I can hold for myself is because I was guarded. Most people look at it as like, well, you're scared and you don't want to. No, it's because of fear.
Yeah.
Because when you deal with abandonment issues and you really let your walls down to engage with an individual and you feel like, man, this could be my person, but you scared of losing them, what happens? Fear set in, you start building up walls.
So you just pressuring yourself. You went back to pressuring yourself like, I don't want to lose that person. So that takes the focus off of getting to know that person.
Right, because you be so worried about trying to keep an individual that you would take whatever they throw at you.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
Definitely not healthy. Whether you're male, female,
It doesn't matter what you are. Yep.
yeah, what you classify for. It really, we all go through pain.
Yeah.
We all, and I'm gonna tell you this now: relationship is regardless what sex you are or what you identify as, it's going to be the same.
It's going to be. You right. And you know what?
Especially your first, it's going to hit hard. Especially if you, like you said, you're vulnerable with that person. You open up, you're vulnerable, and they just take your heart out and they rip it and throw it to the door. It's going to hurt, no matter what color you are, no matter who you are, how you walk, what type of money you got. It's going to hurt the same.
It's going to hurt the same. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I can use myself as an example.
Mm.
Okay, you ready for this? Charles, why you give me that? I like that. You're looking like, what does motherfucker about to say? Nah, because I mean, like, prime example, I've been called like selfish in relationships.
Okay.
You know, and I had to reevaluate that. Cause you know what I'm saying? For I'm like, man, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Getting all mad and shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it took me time to realize what people were saying to me. But it took me a while to realize what that really meant. And where it came from me was me being selfish was my own fears. But me being afraid to let another person know what my fear was about, why I'm feeling anxious, you know? So I'm just trying to cover it up to be like, you know, oh, I'm good. The wall coming up. This is the reason why I act the way I act. But in all reality, that was the wrong way to handle it.
Mm.
Now, I could have been grown enough to be like, you know what? Let's sit down at the table. I got to put this out here. The reason why I've been acting like this is because I'm scared of A, B, C, and D. I'm anxious about A, B, C, and D. Or there's ways that you can help me try to rethink. I could have went about that, but did I? Hell no. You know what? Because I had already had a program set up. You know what? This is how it's going to be. This is how I've been operating. So I was scared to change. You know what I'm saying? So when you allow yourself to go through so much with individuals and you wonder why you keep getting hurt,
damn, yeah,
you gotta just own up to your shit.
Nah, you're right.
And I had to literally own up to it. You know?
Right. Damn.
So have you ever felt like that?
What, owning up to my own shit?
Now, I know you owned up to your own shit, but I'm just saying at a point where like you felt like you had to go about things a different way that maybe your partner didn't understand and it looked like you was being selfish or you just didn't care.
Yeah. And it not just my partner, it's just in life. Especially with my children too.
Right.
You know, like I had to go about it differently. In partners, they're always going to say you're selfish. But yeah, I had to go about it differently. Where, like, I had to take a more aware approach. Make sure I'm aware that I'm not being selfish, even though even when you're aware, they're gonna still call you selfish. So
right,
you know, I've tried my best and been accountable for that. Of, you know, just being aware of, okay, this may come out like it's selfish, but I always say, look, I'm coming to you in a loving way.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be selfish, but this is coming from my heart, and you know, it's just a conversation. I may not say it right, but forgive me if I don't. Then I go on, proceed. And then I back, got you, bitch.
Yeah, I'm still working on my deliverance. I know my deliverance be jacked up, but
your deliverance, I'm like, dude, you gotta.
I've been working on that hard in therapy though. It's almost like going. I almost feel like I be in speech therapy or like talking therapy to learn how to say stuff and like bring emotions to it. Because I've been told that I'm emotionalist too. You know. So, you know, I try to figure out like, you know, where that come from, because I mean, I feel like you know, a part of that is just me trying to protect myself. And I got to learn how to let my guard down and be able to trust in other people and, you know, not take their word, but you know what I'm saying? Be able to naturally just engage.
Yeah, because I think when someone triggers you, it's just like, oh,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. And I'm like, oh no, I don't think I don't think that's what they were saying. But
you know what I'm saying? Like I own up to it, and like I really been working hard on that in therapy. I really been. Cause I'm just like, you know what? My whole thing is with me is that I want to be able to advance myself.
Okay.
Because I've been my own prisoner for too long.
All right.
So, you know what I'm saying? It comes with different challenges. And there's days where I just feel like I'm at a speed bump that I can't get over. But I try to find different routes to take to still get back on the right path.
Nah, you're absolutely right.
But people, look, dealing with people is hard sometimes. But I'm learning.
Look, no, you're getting better. You're getting better.
I'm saying, I have look, out of 100%, I mean, I've come a long way. I would say I'm at least.
Yeah, because you were pretty cutthroat.
Yeah, I was like 3%. I mean, like I didn't care what I said.
So yeah, you came.
I've come a long way.
You came a long way. I could say you've been improving. So improving that. That being said, just want to let you guys know there's negative peer pressure and there's positive peer pressure. The positive is studying, having someone that should be able to influence you to do the right thing, meaning like studying, telling the truth, standing up for what you believe in, being nice, not nice. I'm going to change that. Being kind.
Yes.
Because nice gets you
stuck.
That's right. So helping others make better choices, volunteering. These are all positive pressures. Now, we call them pressures because you have a right to say no and learn how to say no. People, we walk ourselves into yes mode too many times, which that's where being nice gets you stuck. So that being said, we want to thank everybody who's listening to our show. Please give us feedback. We love feedback, regardless if it's positive or negative. We want to know what we can do right and what we're doing wrong. Or if you got any topics that you want us to talk about in the conversation, please leave a chat. We'll soon be going up on YouTube. So pretty soon you can be watching our face expression and watching some of our journey on YouTube as well, because we're going to be doing a lot of journey stuff here. It's trial by error.
Just like a couple of the podcasts, we'll trial by error.
Yeah, trial by error. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for coming out. See ya.
Peace.